Hello and welcome to the Money Show, your one-stop destination for all your personal finance queries. I'm Kavita Thapalial and we have lined up a power pack show for you today where we're talking about NPS and the partial withdrawal rule, and also we'll be thrown upon the counter to get your mutual fund portfolio queries answered by our financial planner. But in case you want to send across your questions, you can do that on our WhatsApp number 865-797-4571. You can also email us your queries on themoneyshow@etnow.tv. So a great lineup of content, but then before that, let's get you the top headlines of the hour. Nifty crosses 22K but then sheds 100 points to settle above 21,900. All eyes now on RBI MPC. Tesla meets Street's expectation in Q3 with profit up 5% to 656 crores. Tata Consumer, on the other hand, sees a 15% dip in profit year on year, rupees 316 crores. PM Modi says PSUs have seen a turnaround in their fortunes with profit rising to 2.5 lakh crore rupees. Cites increase in LIC's stock value. All eyes now on MPC outcome on Feb 8th. Withdrawal of accommodation or neutral stance expected, though no one expects a rate cut right away. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella on India visit says tech transformation will help India become a $5 trillion economy. Says AI will transform large businesses landscape. Let's focus on NPS today on the show first, because we all know it's a very crucial retirement instrument that a lot of people prefer investing in. But then there has been a new rule from 1st Feb, and that is regarding a partial withdrawal that can be done via NPS. Now, what does the rule say and how can you apply for it? I have with me Arnav Pandya, founder Moneyeduschool. Arnav, good evening and welcome to the show. So, not that this is something new that we've discovered. The notification had come somewhere around in Jan, but then it's been applied now since Feb 1st. What exactly is the partial withdrawal rule now that goes with NPS as an investment instrument?
Good evening. So the partial withdrawal rule of the NPS allows you to withdraw a small part of your investment before you reach the age of 60, which is the normal time when you are able to take out the money from the NPS in the tier 1 account. See, in the tier 2 account, you can invest and take out money whenever you want. But in the tier 1 account, the normal process is that the money can be withdrawn only after retirement. Now, the second point is that these rules related to the partial withdrawal were there earlier also. But what has been now done is that everything has been consolidated, and at one place you will now be able to find all these rules together. So there is no element of confusion which is there, and one doesn't have to go at different places to look at what were the changes made at different points of time. So this new circular, which puts into place these rules from 1st February, has everything at a one single place, and this is the only thing that you need to look at when you are going to think of a partial withdrawal. And partial withdrawal means a part of your invested amount is what you can take out before retirement.
All right. So let's also list out the criteria based on which you can apply for this partial withdrawal. And also, because this partial withdrawal, there is a cap to the amount, to the corpus also that can be withdrawn. Arnav.
So there are three main things that you need to look at. One is that when can you opt for partial withdrawal? So you can opt for a partial withdrawal from your tier 1 account only if you have completed 3 years as a subscriber with the NPS. So this 3-year completion is very important. Before that, you cannot opt for the partial withdrawal. The second thing is that how much can you withdraw partly? So the rule says that you can withdraw up to 25% of your contribution to the NPS. Remember one thing, that this is in this calculation only your contribution, and 25% of it is the maximum amount up to which you can withdraw. And why is that important? Because neither the any other contribution, like for example, say if you are in a scheme where your employer is also contributing, then that is not to be counted. The earnings on the contribution is also not to be counted. So only your contribution, and 25% of it is the maximum limit up to which the withdrawal can take place. And the third and most important point is also that over the lifetime of the NPS, you can withdraw 3 times only. So you need to plan out long and ahead in terms of if you are likely to need another, say, partial withdrawal, then this cannot exceed. You cannot do this more than 3 times over the entire life of the NPS scheme that you are going to go through.
Arnav, how many times in the entire tenure you can opt for this partial withdrawal? Is it only once, or you can apply for it more than once?
No, you can go for it up to a maximum of 3 times. So that is the limit which is there. So every time you go, then if you've already made a withdrawal once, then you again have to make the calculation based on your additional contribution to the NPS, but the maximum number of times is 3.
First withdrawal, the first withdrawal that you can opt for should be after 3 years of staying in NPS, right? Should the second withdrawal also be after 3 years post the first withdrawal?
No, the second withdrawal can be at any point of time. So to get the thing started, you need to be a subscriber for a minimum of 3 years. But you need to take into consideration that you should not use up these withdrawals immediately also, because what happens is that, say, the first time you have withdrawn 25% of your eligible amount, and then when you go to withdraw the next time, again the limit is 25% of the eligible amount, but out of which a part of it you'll have to subtract because you've already withdrawn it. So only the new contribution then will, 25% of that will be eligible. So and if you are going to say stay with the scheme till say age 60, then you also need to plan out ahead. So too many close withdrawals is also not a good idea. Though actually going in for a withdrawal itself, you should only do it if it's you cannot avoid it. And second is that now the circular has listed out very clear reasons why you can go for a partial withdrawal. So you have to give the reason, and that reason has to fall within the points which have been highlighted in the circular. So that has to be a main point which one has to consider.
NPS being a retirement instrument, is always advisable not to touch your money for that particular purpose. But then having said that, Arnav, we also know that via NPS you can have schemes connected to equity, debt and various other asset classes. But when you do a partial withdrawal, what's the impact on your investment that you might see?
So ideally, when you are looking for a wealth building investment, you should always compound that investment. So over a period of time, the corpus grows larger. If you are going to withdraw partially, then obviously the corpus goes down and the compounding will be on a lower base. So that is a negative thing, which is why one should try and avoid it. The other point which also I want to highlight is that the reasons why you can withdraw are now very clearly laid out. So unless it falls into one of these categories, you cannot withdraw. So for example, you can withdraw for higher education for your children. The second thing is you can withdraw for marriage of your children. The third thing is that you can withdraw for either the construction or the purchase of a residential property, either in your name, which is the subscriber's name, or jointly with the spouse. But the condition here is that you should not have an existing residential property already, unless it is from which has come through a will or from inheritance. The other reason why you can withdraw is that if you need it for treatment of specific health conditions, which is things like cancer, stroke, and so on, which have been listed out there. So then you can withdraw. But surprisingly, the other thing is that there are two very interesting reasons why you can withdraw also. One is that it allows withdrawal for the process of acquiring new skills or upskilling. So something which can help you in your career, that is an eligible reason under these rules. And the final thing is that you can also withdraw if you want to use it to start up a new venture or a startup. So these are very interesting points. And apart from where you have to do it, these 2 points are also included in the circular. So the reason why you are withdrawing it also needs to be taken into consideration, because ultimately the base on which your corpus is going to grow is going to go down after the withdrawal.
All right. And you can't be having the same reason for partial withdrawal every time that you're doing. Also, I want to understand the tax impact that you might have on your entire corpus collected.
So if you are withdrawing partially, then the tax impact is that amount which you are withdrawing is tax free, because one, you to look at it this way, that you are only withdrawing your own contribution. So this does not include any earnings on the contribution at all. And the income tax clearly provides that up to 25% withdrawal, which you do partially before this period of time, is not liable to be taxed. So that is a relief as far as the tax front is concerned. Otherwise, if you just allow the corpus to grow, then at the time of retirement, you can withdraw a lump sum of 60% tax free, and the remaining 40% has to be converted into an annuity. At that point of time, there is no tax, but once the annuity starts coming in, that will be taxed in the hands of the receiver.
And you can't be having the same reason for partial withdrawal. All the 3 times that you might want to withdraw your money, you need to specify a different reason.
I mean, that might not necessarily be the case, because, I mean, if you have, say, a medical treatment for which you might want to withdraw, then, I mean, the same reason might be there. There is, I mean, the circular, as far as I know, doesn't say that, I mean, you cannot have the same reason.
All right, I think that will be all. Thank you so much, Arnav, for being on the show and helping our viewers with all the information regarding partial withdrawal or NPS. Thank you so much. On that note, let's take a quick break, and post that, let's get your mutual fund queries answered by our financial planner. But before that, if in case you are watching us live and want to address your query live, you can send across your questions on our WhatsApp number 865-797-4571 and our email ID. See you after this break.